Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Des Moines, June 13th meeting. And I'm President Becky Greenwald. Oh, each week I like to do a little factoid about Rotary, and so this week is going to focus on the Carl Weeks Circle. So Rotary Club of Des Moines has a long history of fostering community service and philanthropy, and we've launched our own Des Moines Rotary Club Foundation, and the Carl Weeks Circle is a special designation for those members who designate money to the Des Moines Foundation, and when their cumulative total reaches $2,500, they're brought into the circle. So I just wanted to be sure that you knew about that. Sometimes some of us that have been around forget about it, but we actually implemented this back in 2015 and 16. And so with every $2,500 that you donate, then if you think about it, if you make your voluntary $150 donation to our foundation with the $sign, and you add the $25 each quarter, that's $250 a year right there. 10 years, you're in the circle. So this started back in the 2015-2016 time period. So we have several people that are getting close to becoming part of the Carl Weeks Circle. And this picture here is an illustration of the folks that when we first implemented this, and we had to double our impact capital campaign for the foundation back in 2017, we had 21 members who we honored as they became inaugural members of the circle at that time. And out of the 21, 10 of them are still members today. So are any of you here, those people that are members of the circle yet? Yeah, there we go. So let's say a round of applause. As you are able, and if you want to boost that up and become a Carl Weeks Circle person earlier, you can always put a little more money in, and Kitty or I can let you know where you stand on that. Because there are a lot of people that are really close, and we'll have quite a few coming across next year. So thank you always for your support. And now I would like to ask Susan to come up and give us some inspiration and a Bible test and Pledge of Allegiance. Susan Schaumburg.
Thank you, Becky. Our honored speaker today is Tiffany Tauta, CEO of the Greater Des Moines Partnership for over a year now, I believe. From my point of view, Tiffany replaced two very able men in a job at the partnership and is doing it very well. So let's take a look and see what people are saying about partnerships. Helen Keller's always inspirational. She said, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." Very true. Okay, but Mother Teresa is even more inspirational, right? "I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together we can do great things." Terrific. Then there's Yoko Ono. "We're all water from different rivers. That's why it's so easy to meet. We're all water in this vast ocean. And someday we'll evaporate together." Confused? Yeah, me too. So let's continue with our Beatles theme here. This is from Steve Jobs. "My model for business is the Beatles. They were four guys who kept each other's kind of negative tendencies in check. They balanced each other, and the total was greater than the sum of the parts. That's how I see business. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people." Okay. Warren Buffett says, "Partnership is not a legal contract between two equal individuals. It is an emotional alliance between two people who are committed to each other's success." Really good. Okay. I go along with Franklin Roosevelt. "I'm not the smartest fellow in the world, but I sure can pick smart colleagues." It was always my secret in life. And one of my favorite soccer stars, and I do like soccer, is Abby Wambach. And she said, "I've never scored a goal in my life without getting a pass from someone else." Very true. And finally, this from Martin Luther King. We may all have come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. Very true. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the five-way test.
Is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun?
Let's greet our fellow Rotarians.
Here I am, talking, and not doing my job. Okay, so we have a few guests that we'd like to introduce today. And I'd ask you just to stand, and when we have everyone introduced, we'll applaud and welcome you all at one time. So Alan Fire is the Group Dynamics organization, and he's a guest of Sean Bullen. You stand. Susie Williams, an attorney with Hartung Schroeder, and a guest of Anna McFarland. And Mary Gottschalk, who is a member of the Rotary Club of Fairhope, Alabama, and spouse of Kent Zimmerman. Welcome. Glad you came. So it is tumbler time, so please consider donating $5 into the cup on your table if you don't have one of those green dollar signs that shows us that you've made a year-long contribution. And even if you do, you can always contribute a little more to the Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation. And always thank you for your support. We do such great things because of what you've done to fund that foundation. Oh, the next part's always fun. Where in the world is Club 27? Well, we were at the Wheels Fellowship at the Gold Star Museum, and what a morning it was. Thanks to Randy Worth and Bill Jackson for making this a very memorable tour of the museum. It was really something else. And we were in France with Rich, Leopold, and Veronica at the Louvre, so yay. How about that? It's wonderful. So if you have any place you're going, grab one of those Where in the World placards from Kitty and send us a picture, and we'd like to go with you and share in your excitement. So now, another fun feature of our meetings is to introduce a new member. And Bruce Kelly sponsored our newest member that be introduced, and it's Holly Larson, who is with Anderson Tax. And Holly, I'd ask if you just come up and stand here by me so we can all get introduced to you. Welcome. what we do is we'd ask Holly 5 fun facts just to get to know her a little bit, and I just encourage people to go up and meet Holly later today or other times and get to know her yourselves. But we kind of like to get this insight from our new members. So if you've got a free day, what would we find you doing? So Holly would be on a long walk, enjoying her surroundings and meditate on what's going well and what she could do better in her life. Where in the world have you traveled that you can't wait to go back to? Boston, in capital letters. Her family traveled there by RV to Boston and enjoyed so many adventures along the way. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Do not be anxious about anything. We find out how to make that happen. Okay. And then what talent or skill do you possess that might surprise or delight people? Holly plays the piano, and although she's lost some of her skill over the years from not practicing, you can still sit down and play some favorite pieces that you learned at a young age. Is there one favorite that you really like to go to?
Canon and D.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Canon and D, wonderful. Okay. And lastly, why are you're joining Rotary, and what can't you wait to tell your friends about our organization? And so what Holly said, it's a great connections group with wonderful volunteer opportunities. So, want to let you know that Holly lives in Huxley with her husband and her daughter and 2 sons. And as we said earlier, she's a CPA working at Anderson Tax, which is located right here in the Ruan building. So, welcome to the club. Thank you.
Very much.
Okay, I'm now asking Mr. Greg Edwards to come forward and introduce our speaker.
Thank you for all the respect that you show me. And thank you once again to Hamilton's for sponsoring me. You can catch me afterwards like this. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce our great speaker today, Tiffany Tauschek, who has her CCE, her IM, her IOM, her CDME. You impressed yet? The only one I know is the CDME because she is a certified a certified destination marketing executive, which she earned somewhere in a previous job. But she is the president and CEO of the Greater Des Moines Partnership. For the past 9 years, she has been leading various areas of work at the partnership, including organizational strategic planning, operations, culture, investor relations, downtown economic impact, and high-profile regional initiatives. Tiffany's passionate about regional collaboration and projects that impact Greater Des Moines and the quality of life. She's also a Drake alum and very active in Drake. I think she was the alum of the year a couple years ago. And I have to ad lib a little bit here because Tiffany is very humble with the bio they sent over to me, which was what I just read. But she really learned all of her skills from me back in 2007 when she joined the then known as the Greater Des Moines Convention and Visitors Bureau as really our first director of marketing, and honestly did bring us notches ahead of where we are today, and it was a big part of where we are today because of that. Prior to that, she was in her career path was actually she started out in TV news, working in Cedar Rapids, and then coming to Des Moines. I was in the radio business for a while, and then finally saw the light and came into the CVB world, and now of course the partnership world as well. She's championed many things around the community, including many things with us, and in particular, for those of you that give me crap about Catch Des Moines, you can blame her because she was our director of marketing at the time, and went after we decided we needed a new brand, and she led the charge on that and really was instrumental in creating that new brand of Catch Des Moines, which has been very, very successful for us. She's been a recipient of all kinds of awards, 40 Under 40, Women of Influence. She was recognized as a 40 Under 40 with a big national publication in our industry years ago called USAE. and just the list go on and on. She's also married to a very popular person you may remember by the name of Mark Tauschek, of both WHO TV and KCCI TV, and has two wonderful children, Ty and Tammy. So with that, Tiffany Tauschek.
Well, thanks. When I heard that Greg was introducing me, I wasn't quite sure where it was going to go, but you kept it rated G, thank you. And I did learn a lot from my time with Greg. We worked together for almost 8 years, and I could give you many, many examples of lessons that I learned along the way from Greg, but one of my favorite memories of Greg is he cared so much about his team. We have 2 kids, as Greg mentioned, and my son, at one point when I was working at Catch, he was 2 years old and really, really wanted to meet Santa Claus, and we were having trouble getting in because the lines to meet Santa were so long. Greg dressed up as Santa and came to my house to meet with my son. That's just one example of Greg and how much he cares and his character, and so I've learned a lot from you. Thank you very much. So, as Greg mentioned, I'm with the Greater Des Moines Partnership now, so it's rather serendipitous that I moved from working with Catch Des Moines to economic development, because we often say that today's tourists are tomorrow's talent. So Greg and his team are always working to help get more and more visitors here. They do a phenomenal job, and of course our job at the Greater Des Moines Partnership is to convince those visitors to move here. And we're fairly successful, but that queue of visitors that just keeps coming in just helps us with our talent pool continuing to grow and grow. So it's really a wonderful collaboration and partnership that we have with the Catch Des Moines team. So the Greater Des Moines Partnership is the regional economic development and community development organization. We represent 11 different counties throughout the region, and that includes 400 different investors who fund us as a nonprofit. Additionally, we have 23 different affiliate chambers of commerce, and also through those chambers, we have 6,500 business members. So we represent a pretty big pool of the 11 counties, and that includes 850,000 residents. So overall, the Greater Des Moines Partnership is the 4th largest regional chamber of commerce in the entire country. And that matters as we're looking to get things done, certainly on a state level, but also on a federal level, which we'll talk a little bit more about as we go. As Susan, your comments were amazing. I would love to have you come and speak to one of our team meetings and just get us kicked off. Loved how you approached that and talking about partnership. And I completely agree that we wouldn't be able to do what we do if not for a great team. It really does take all of us pulling in the same direction to get things done. And we're able to do so much of what we do at the Greater Des Moines Partnership because we have these individuals who are our team, about 40 individuals working on our team, but we also have a number of volunteer leaders, many of you in the room, who have helped through the years or are helping us now in moving the region forward. We actively have about 700 community volunteers that are engaged and involved with the Greater Des Moines Partnership through our different work and boards, committees, and councils. So again, we really believe that we can be and we are better and stronger together. So because we are nonprofits and we need to fundraise our operations in order to do what we need to do to strategically activate upon the needs of the region, every 5 years we go out and fundraise for the Greater Des Moines Partnership. And this is a snapshot of what our Moving Forward Together 2027 investor campaign, what we were really focused on. We're rooted in these visions. And every year then, we move into having strategic priorities. And all of what we do is built outside in, bottom up. So it's through our investors, our board members, our affiliate chambers of commerce, and our members who are telling us these are the questions, concerns, opportunities, challenges. That's what helps guide us to where we need to go as we're outlining those strategic needs and priorities annually. So as mentioned, core areas of focus, economic development and talent development, and placemaking projects are key and critical as we're looking to attract and retain talent. We also are leaning in on a global talent study, so helping those new residents to our community get better integrated and welcomed in, as well as activating the Capital Crossroads Roadmap, which is really the community's vision plan. Partnership plays just one small part in helping elevate that work. And then storytelling. As Greg mentioned, I got my start as a journalist. So I went to Drake, studied journalism and political science, and started out actually as a tape editor in Cedar Rapids before there was breaking news one day, and nobody else was in the newsroom to cover the story, so the news director sent me out, and that was my first time reporting. And from then on, when I was in TV, I was reporting or on the set, and really believe in the power of storytelling because it helps us inform and inspire. So that's something that you'll see and hear more and more about from the Greater Des Moines Partnership, is telling the stories of the region and business success stories as well as resident success stories. Because we are an economic development organization, these are only our projects since 1999, so just a little side note, our organization actually began over 140 years ago, but we were the Des Moines Chamber of Commerce, and over time there were a number of different entities that were all operating, doing similar things, and the community leaders in 1999 came together and decided that they wanted to form what is now the Greater Des Moines Partnership and have some of those other entities as part of the partnership, because so many of these companies and organizations were writing checks to fund 2, 3, or 4 different organizations. So this way it's just one organization. And so we have the Greater Des Moines Partnership, and then we have Downtown DSM Inc., which is our 501c6 dedicated to downtown development. We have a C3 dedicated to downtown development. And then we also have contracts with Operation Downtown, Greater Des Moines Committee, and a number of other organizations. So this shows just what some of the expansions and new locations, that projects that we've worked on as a partnership team supporting our economic development practitioners throughout those 11 counties that we represent. So overall, from what we can track, we're at nearly $14 billion in capital investment that our team has helped to bring to the table and bring into the region. Here's just a quick snapshot of some of the logos and projects that we've worked on, hopefully some names that you recognize. We have a number of other projects that we're working on for 2024 and beyond. We signed NDAs, so I can't talk about many of them right now, but there's a lot of exciting projects in the works. Our project lead, queue, and funnel is actually stronger than it has ever been. We went and looked back at all of our project leads and where we've been at in past years to this point, and right today as we stand, we're at 72 project leads for this year. The highest we've ever had before was 67. So these project leads take a lot of time, and they have to be qualified project leads. We're out around the country selling our region to help get those businesses to move here. Because we ideally want businesses to move here, we also want our existing businesses to grow and thrive. So those are the 2 areas where we really lean in on economic development. And just in case you didn't know, here's a snapshot of our key industries. Of course, there are a number of other entities and industries, as well as small business startup that we want to continue to support and build that ecosystem as well. So I talked about economic development as one of our core focus areas. The other is talent development, which is supported through public policy work as well. Here's just a couple of our projects and programs. We have our intern connection. If any of you are aware of interns that are here this summer, please let us know, put us in touch with them, or we're happy to pass along information to you. Those interns can be a part of this free program and get to meet other interns. What we found, and we have about 300 interns participating so far in the program this summer. What we found, based off of last year's experience, 74% of those interns, and majority are from out of state, 74% of the interns that went through this program said at the end of the program that now they want to move here. They want to work here. So the better and stronger of those relationships that we can create while they're here and make sure they have a great experience and they're out and about in the community experiencing all the wonderful attractions and amenities we have, the more likely they are to want to move here. So let us know if you have interns. Also, Inclusion Summit is just one example of the way that we're really helping inform that workforce and build out that cohort related to leaning into inclusive economic growth. So I talked about how we go out and we're always hunting for economic development prospect leads. We also are always on the hunt for talent. So we have a national marketing campaign that we essentially are able to target digitally individuals who would have the propensity to move into our region. We track all of that, and we're able to show and prove that through all of those efforts so far for this year, We've had individuals in 2022, individuals from 46 states that have moved to our region and from 5 continents. So we follow all that through the campaign marketing funnel. We're able to track every bit of this every step of the way to show that as we're marketing our region to individuals, as they're working their way through making a decision whether or not to move here. And the reason that they're moving here is all over the board, but we did conduct a study and we know the top 3 reasons people will move back or move to Des Moines. And so in addition to boomerangs, those individuals are considering or moving here because of our outdoor recreation opportunities, because of our wonderful cultural amenities, and also because of our, oh shoot, I just forgot it. I went out of order, safety. Because of our safety, because people feel safe in our community. So outdoor recreation, cultural amenities, and safety are the top 3 reasons individuals say that they are choosing to move here. So once they've expressed interest, we've been in conversation with these individuals. Our team sends them a packet which tells them a little bit more about the region. We give them a little flag that they can hang up so that they can be a fan of our greater Des Moines region. And it's just another way to continue to engage in that conversation with them. Then what happens is as they decide to move here, we pair them up with our ambassadors. We have a new DSM MVP ambassador program. So any of you who want to participate, let us know. These are volunteers who meet with these prospective and new residents and basically tell them how great our community is. But we do some matchmaking behind the scenes. So for example, we recently had a prospective new resident who was very interested in having a horse ranch. So we were very intentional and matched them up with a horse lover in the community so that they could meet with that individual and better understand how they could live the life they want to live in our region. So we do that as well as host Welcome to DSM reception. So these are for new residents. If you have any new employees or know anyone that's just moved here, let us know, we'll get them invited. What we have found through our research is individuals are more likely to stay here. They will not move away after 2 years. They will stay here if they feel that they are truly a part of the community. So it's on us to make sure that we're welcoming them in and helping them become more ingrained and embedded in the community, and these 2 programs help us do that. So I also mentioned our public policy work. We were recently in DC for our 45th annual DMDC fly-in. This was one of our largest contingencies that we've ever taken. We flew in about 200 leaders from Greater Des Moines into DC to meet with our congressional delegation and lobby on the Hill. And Lincoln Dix is our current partnership affiliate President's Council Chair representing the community of Bondurant, and he was so impressed. This was his first time on the trip, so he provided this testimonial and wrote a really long, beautiful letter, and then we turned that into a blog with his permission, talking about the collective impact that we can have and how going together to DC helps us stand out as a region. We additionally provide quite a bit of small business and startup support, and that includes one-on-one consultations. We also have our Scale DSM accelerator program that actually just kicked off. That cohort kicked off just this week. We have 14 small business owners that are participating in that program. This is the first this is the largest group that we've ever had go through that program. So these are small businesses that really need to have their business scale up in order for them to thrive. So this is dedicated to helping them work on the business and not just in the business. We also created 3 years ago the new Spark DSM incubator program. So what we found is that when we're hosting big events like the Downtown Farmers Market, there are some small businesses that aren't aware of how to get their business into the farmers market to be a vendor. So we viewed that as a blind spot we needed to address. So we created this program so that we can more intentionally reach out to those communities and those business owners to help them grow their business at the only cost they have is the cost to produce their product. Everything else is covered and paid for. We even set up the tent and the signage for them. So we work with sponsors in the community to ensure that these small businesses are supported and have a great experience while they're at the farmers market. It helps them determine if their product is going to be successful and what tweaks they need to make along the way. So this year already we have 21 small businesses that are participating in this program that have never before participated in the Downtown Farmers Market. And then our Small Business Success Summit is another example of small business support that we provide. So you may be aware one of our jobs, in addition to Greg's, is to really do all we can to cheerlead and advocate for our region. So we do that through rankings and third-party accolades that we receive. So here's just a few examples of some of the recent rankings. We just heard that the Young Professionals ranking, we fell to number 2, so we're gonna work to raise that back up to number 1. But there's a number of other rankings also on our website if you're ever interested. Population growth continues to be really strong for our region, so we're averaging 16.3% over the decade, so basically that means 27 people move here every single day. We're outpacing our Midwest peers on population growth, and we also know that our foreign-born population has increased by 50% in the last decade. Hence that global talent study and how we need to support our global talent moving into the region. Employment growth continues to be strong. We outperform our peers here as well as in GDP growth. This was an interesting stat. So we're looking through all kinds of data at all times, and this is an interesting stat just pulled up from Moody's Analytic to just show that our region really does continue to outperform, and this is all data driven. This is not just a ranking, this is data that's driving and telling the story about our region. We also know that we're outperforming the nation in terms of population growth for 25 to 44-year-olds, which is going to help us again with getting that workforce into jobs and supporting our businesses. So as mentioned, I have been with the Greater Des Moines Partnership for 9 years, but I'm almost 1 year into the role of president and CEO. And I kicked off my time as president and CEO, making sure that I was spending time out and about listening throughout the 11 counties that we represent. So I had over 365 face-to-face meetings in about 6 months, and that was inclusive of policymakers, educators, small business owners, investors, board members, you name it. And basically what I heard through all of that were key themes over and over and over again. That is, they want the partnership to really lean into economic development and talent development, which is exactly what we're now doing. Additionally, they would like for our community and our region to address workforce, housing, childcare, and education. Now let's just note, those are issues in every single community across the nation. What makes us different is how we as a region approach challenges. We are more collaborative, and we are more willing to get creative to find solutions. And there's a lot of examples about this, and there also are data points that do indicate that we do stand out as a region and we actually thrive in challenging times. We have also heard continued commitment on the DSM Airport Terminal project is needed. That's the #1 project on every investor's mind that we spoke with. And then there was also an interest and eagerness that I had not heard before in bridging some of those relationships and gaps between rural, urban, and suburban communities. So that was really encouraging to me that we had rural, urban, suburban leaders all saying they want to have those relationships so that they can better collaborate and better understand how everyone is addressing some of these key challenges that everyone has. And then they also wanted more storytelling. I'm all in on storytelling, and wanted continued presence in their communities. So as I mentioned, one of our entities is the Downtown DSM Inc. And while we're not out to market with marketing Downtown DSM Inc. as an organization, we do market Downtown DSM quite a bit, and we're able to do that in many ways. But here's a snapshot of the work that we're doing to keep our downtown clean, safe, beautiful, and welcoming. Placemaking, I'm going to fly through these and then so you can have just a few minutes for questions if you're interested in asking anything. Placemaking is key and critical to helping set our region apart from others. It creates this sense of place, and we're able to do that certainly through small businesses that add to the vibrancy and jobs, but we're also able to do that through big projects. So one that you can look out and see is the skate park. Greg and others worked on this skate park, making sure this public-private partnership came to life, and Catch Des Moines and others were able to host the Olympic trials, the U.S. Olympic trials, just days after the skate park opened. This is just a phenomenal example and one that's lifted up across the nation as being one of those really stellar public-private partnerships. It's the largest skate park in the United States, just a few blocks away. We also, as I mentioned, we want to continue to focus on the DSM Airport Terminal project that will be complete in 2026. They're doing very, very well, lots of construction. Parking out there is a little tricky at times right now. Oops. And then Icon Water Trails is another one of those placemaking projects that really is a key differentiator, and again aligns with what we hear from our perspective and our new talent, outdoor recreation. That is key and critical. So Icon Water Trails connects 150 miles of water trails through about 80 plus different sites throughout the region, including you'll be able to whitewater raft and surf in downtown DSM. Pretty cool. Also the Market District, which you can see from up here as well. This offers retail and housing and a place for events and activations. This is the Johnston Gateway Project, so great things happening up in Johnston. We track all of our different placemaking projects, and we're at over 100 in the 11 counties that we represent. So over 100 projects. This is another one, the Future Sapphire Lake Project outside of Grinnell. This is going to help them with housing, but also additional outdoor recreation opportunities. And then we also have our Knoxville District, which is the Veterans Project, so turning this into a space that's usable through housing, retail, green space, outdoor recreation, and then the key town development. These are just, again, a few of the projects. Newton as well. Again, housing is one that comes up over and over again, and then outdoor recreation. And these are needs of our community in addition to work that is coming to life. Marshalltown, their district, which this was about a $5 million investment. If you haven't been there recently, check it out. There's great public art and small businesses that are thriving now because they created this sense of place on one of their streets in their downtown area. We're also able to create placemaking through events and activations. Our team produces the Downtown Farmers Market, which is happening every Saturday, May through October on Court Avenue. This is one of the largest farmers markets in the country, and we are averaging more than 42,000 people at the farmers market every single Saturday. We are breaking records. We are 16% ahead of where we typically are, our highest point in the past for attendance at the farmers market. So much so that we've extended and we've added another street because it does get a little congested and crowded. But we have a record number of vendors at the farmers market too, so we want to support those small businesses and make sure they have the space to be there. We do a ton of other regional activations, and then we host the World Food and Music Festival in downtown as well. Again, all about telling the story loud, bold, and broad. If you have a story you want to help tell, please let us know, because your success is the region's success. It's always better to hear it from our businesses and residents. And we also believe in the power of public-private partnerships that create a visioning, working together, and having that access and accessible leadership. So one final note, Capital Crossroads, this is again the region's vision plan. The partnership is just one of many different community organizations and leaders coming together to support this work. We're really leaning in these next 2 years on workforce housing as well as education. So if this is something you're interested in getting involved with, let us know. Here's a QR code you can take. You just hold your phone up and you can go right to our website to learn more information and get involved. So I think we have time just for a couple of questions, if anyone would like to ask me anything. Yes, sir.
What's your greatest challenge?
What is our greatest challenge? I think the opportunity to continue to lean in as a region is what sets us apart. And it's always one that's so important to keep everybody in the boat, rowing in the same direction. And sometimes that's tricky because there might be competing interests, or there might be different projects that both need funding. So where do you pick to push or lean in? So there's always those ongoing conversations, which is why it's so critical that we have those relationships between rural, urban, suburban leaders, so that at least there's conversation if there is something that we maybe don't agree on. Yes?
Why isn't there any, excuse me,
Yes.
why isn't there any mention of working with churches?
Why isn't there any mention of working with churches? Because we are a membership-based organization. We do have some of our members who are pastors and work with those churches, obviously, so they're at the table. But typically, we are a business, nonprofit, and municipality organization. So it's really those that decide to lean in and be a part of that work. We do have a few members who do represent churches. Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for coming and speaking to us today, and I admire the good work you're doing in leading the partnership. But I think there's one thing that should be recognized, and the Des Moines business and professional community commended for the way that they have moved through this last 20 years and bringing the organizations, keeping them involved and keeping them as friends, but bringing the leadership and the focusing efforts down to a more manageable, so that we don't have everybody trying to do everything on their own. And I think Des Moines is a bit unusual in that way, and I think it really shows in what we're able to get done as a community.
Thank you. So the comment was just about having that regional collaboration and so many entities coming together as one, and how that essentially is making us more effective and is a unique model in the country. And in fact, it is a very unique model. And we get calls, I got one just before coming here today, from a community in Michigan, and I'm gonna fly up and meet with them. They have multiple communities that are wanting to band together and create an organization like the Greater Des Moines Partnership, because each of their communities have their own economic development organizations. And if we're working together, we're gonna be able to solve problems faster. We're also going to be able to save some resources. So you are exactly right. This is a very unique model, and it's one that we also know is very delicate. So it's important to have those relationships and make sure that we're engaging in civil ways and having ongoing conversations. So appreciate the comment. Yes, sir.
Are there any plans within the 11th county area for additional agri-parks like the one that's being developed in Cumming?
So the question was about additional development of agri-parks. Very timely. We actually have an event at Middlebrook tonight, hosting new leaders who have moved into our region. We are taking them to Middlebrook to show them that Middlebrook experience, the agri-hood. There are a couple of other projects that there are whispers about. So yes, there is interest, and yes, we are talking to developers about that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tiffany, how do you work with IDET?
Yes, so how do we work with Iowa Economic Development Authority? We work very closely with Debbie Durham and her team. An example is the mega site bill. IEDA was leading that work. Our team, our public policy team, was also working side by side with IEDA to move that forward. We work very closely with them on incentives and that conversation of state incentives. We have ongoing conversations. I have Debbie's cell. We talk out of the blue whenever is needed, whether it's related to an issue or an opportunity. Another example is, as you know, Greenfield had, unfortunately, a tornado that blasted through their community. Greenfield is within the 11 counties that we represent. So immediately following hearing and seeing the pictures on TV, the video on TV, I reached out, started texting all of my contacts in Greenfield, including Representative Sorensen, Bubba, if you know Bubba. I texted him as well as Brenda Dudley from Midwest Partnerships and asked, what do you need from us? How can we help support you? Also reached out to Debbie Durham. So all of us instantly were jumping in to see what can we do to provide assistance on a state and local level. And in that moment, Representative Sorensen, state representative, said, we need food, water, and electricity. And thinking, okay, how are we gonna get this done? Ask a question, you're gonna get an answer, right? And so instantly reached out to Shelley Herr from Musco Lighting. And within a matter of 3 hours, Musco had delivered 2 of their trucks to Greenfield to have energy and lights in Greenfield. Wouldn't be possible if we didn't have those relationships and that willingness to ask the question and also say, no, this is really what we need. We need food, water, and electricity. Certainly we reached out to the Red Cross, who was already obviously aware and working on it. Debbie's going down there again, I think on Friday, tomorrow. So these are just different ways too. So crisis communications, opportunities, projects, you name it, IEDA is a phenomenal partner. Yes, sir.
With the, thank you for being here today. With the upcoming Des Moines Public School Initiative to close approximately, 20 schools over the next 3 or so years, do you guys have someone sitting at that committee or sitting on that committee? I know they were putting together a committee of about, 45 or 50 people?
Yes. So the question was about with DMPS and other schools that are considering closing and just this ongoing, if I can ad lib a little bit, ongoing conversation about education in the schools, what are we doing about it? So we have formed the DSM Workforce Collaborative, which is I believe what you're referring to. So this is about 50 different leaders. These are educators and government officials as well as business leaders that are around the table, and we're meeting on an ongoing basis to see what can we do from a skills perspective to help support these students and ensure that our future workforce is ready and prepared. We have a number of other initiatives, including our new legacy project partnering with Principal and Salmons Financial to have about 70 different high school age interns go through additional programming and opportunities to learn about skills that you're going to need if you're on a job. But we additionally have met with the school superintendents. We've had conversations. Happy to talk more about this. This is not an easy problem to solve. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you all. Great. Wow. Always wonderful to see Tiffany and to find out all the wonderful things happening with the Vibrant Partnership. So thank you. It's wonderful. And because of your informative presentation, in honor of this time that you've given us, we've got a token of appreciation. We've donated a book to the Des Moines Public Library that is part of the Downtown Library's Rotary Rosie Reader Van collection. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to donate in your name. Okay, upcoming meetings and upcoming speakers. And remember, please consider bringing guests to the meeting. You just need to RSVP for yourself and your guests by Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Go through Kitty to bring the guests and think about who you could bring to Rotary that might be interested in one of our upcoming keynote speakers and would be a great addition to our club. So next week we're going to hear from Julia Franklin, who is with the Mainstream Studios. June 27th, Police and Fire Awards and Passing of the Gavel. It's going to be a busy meeting, a big meeting. Always one of my favorites with the Police and Fire Awards. And then, of course, the 4th of July, we'll all be celebrating, so there won't be any meeting then. We'll be celebrating Independence Day. And for our fun this month, we still have things going on. Thanks to Ann Smearlove with the Des Moines Blank Park Zoo. She's invited us to Zoo Brew, which will be on Wednesday, June 26th. The doors open at 6, but Ann says to avoid the big crowds, hang out and come at 6:30, which is interesting. And of course, it's a rain or shine event, and this event goes until 9:30. This is an adults only adult beverage event, and tickets to get into the zoo, which help contribute to the zoo's development, are $10 each and can be purchased on site. And then just let them know you're with the Rotary Club of Des Moines, and we'll be going to the group, we'll meet at the Safari Grill Deck. There's going to be live music there by the group called the Unfortunate Sons, and our music guru here, Kitty, checked out this group online, and they are rock and roll hits and hidden gems, mostly from the 70s and 80s. And so we I encourage you to come and join us for a night of fun the night before I pass the gavel on Thursday. So think about Zoo Brew. And thank you for being with us today and for being a vital part of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. You are what makes us tick. So until we meet again, let's get out there and do good and have fun in the name of Rotary. We are adjourned.